Then eventually, Nicole and OJ, I guess he had gotten a divorce from Marguerite. They decided to get married a couple years later, and so we were invited to their wedding. It was a wonderful wedding. It was everybody was there. I mean, everybody and anybody was at this wedding at Rockingham, and we just had a great time, a wonderful time. We just had so much fun. It was happy then. It was happy times. She seemed very happy. She she really did love him. You know, she loved OJ.
You were the photographer, correct?
Yeah, I was one of the. They hired a professional, but my pictures came out much better, I think, than the pro did. But I took my own camera, so I took tons and tons of pictures of their wedding, and they seemed so happy, and she seemed, you know, she was ecstatic that she had this wonderful life. I had a son, Joseph, and then she had Sydney, and so we'd get together with our kids, you know, every so often, and then we started to grow apart. My business started to take off in photography. I was a car photographer in advertising. I would work for some of the top ad agencies all over the United States. And I got to travel. I got to travel to Europe and all over to shoot different cars, as they did a lot of work for Range Rover and a lot of the big clients. And so my career and her life and my life were different. I was living this time in Manhattan Beach, and then we needed a bigger house as I had more and more children, which I did. I had 4 boys. I moved to Redondo, South Redondo, where I had a larger house, and then she was in the Rockingham house, and she had Sydney and then Justin. So from then, I mean, we really, you know, our lives kind of were apart, and I invited them for New Year's Eve, and to come to a New Year's Eve party down in Redondo. And she said, "Oh, I think we're gonna have a party here." And that was the night first time that I had heard that they had gotten this big fight, and it was on the news that he beat her, hit her, and you know, it's just unbelievable thinking of that now. I was in my studio. I remember I had a studio in Culver City, and I was there at my desk when I got a call that that Nicole Brown Simpson had been killed, and I just couldn't believe it. It just was the most tragic, unbelievable thing, because I loved her. I really did love her a lot. I'm sorry. Anyway, she just was special. She was a special woman, and nobody really knew how special she was. But, you know, she got married very young and met this man that was abusive, and an abusive life. And I don't know how any man could ever hit any woman. And I just, to this day, oh my gosh, I don't know. It's just the most tragic story ever. And we decided, my wife and I, to have a memorial at our house in Redondo. So we had everybody there for this memorial. And when I was I remember everybody there was a pallbearer. Okay, I got to carry the casket. And unfortunately, the open casket, I got to see it when it was open. And I fell apart. And it just was so tragic, this whole thing. After Nicole had been beaten by her husband, I knew that it was OJ Simpson that did this. OJ Simpson killed his wife. And there was other story. My wife sat on the beach with Nicole one time, and she told her that she was afraid that OJ was gonna slash her with knives because he collected knives. He was somehow into knives. I don't know why this guy was into knives, but I knew he did it. And like I go back in my mind, if I would have known that this guy, this man was like that, I would have never let her go out that night. But there was nothing I could do. They fell in love, and I don't know. I remember we were on a boat in the harbor at Redondo Beach, cruising. We had just gone out of the harbor when we heard this on the news, that we had the radio on in the boat, and we were going for a sail. And I was with the Cherms, which are now my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. I thought, oh my gosh, this guy, what, if you're not guilty, why would you do this? Why would you run? And the police are chasing you, and AC's in the car.